Hey. Yeah. Oh. 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 Yeah.
What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, nothing major in the news, same leftist nonsense crap you keep seeing. I did see critics try to bash the new Black Adam movie because supposedly it doesn't have any woke ideology crap nonsense in it. And they're throwing a hissy fit because it doesn't. And the audience loves it. Like, everybody loves the movie except for the critics. They're literally trying to bash it, whatever, review bomb it or whatever. But the audience ain't letting them. Apparently it doesn't have any woke nonsense in it, so that's why everybody likes it. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I can't tell you. Once I watch it, I'll give you the heads up. What I want to talk to you about this week is I just got done playing a video game that most people have heard of. It's called FallOut 3. Now, I've had this game for years, but I've never completed it or played the main story and finished the game, which you can do early on. You don't have to do all the side quests because there's a bunch of them. Now, I always play a good character. I've not tried the evil character yet. I know there's a few different side quests if you play the evil character. If you've ever watched my videos, you know when I'm talking about a video game and giving a review on it, I am a basic completionist. You know, I like to try to complete just about everything that I can in the game, do everything that the game allows. What I like about FallOut 3, there are pros and cons. The first one is you have the option of choosing between first person and third person view, which I like. I also like the fact that it's an RPG. I'm not a fan of first person shooters, but the fact that it's more of an RPG than a first person shooter, and that you have the option to do third person view, I like. As far as the colors go, I always kept it like in the yellow or gold. I didn't like the green, I didn't like the blue, and the white was too bright. There are, certain areas, like you're trying to climb on rocks or certain objects, you will get stuck. It is a glitch in the game. Luckily, it has an autosave feature, which you don't have to back up too far, where you go through a door and it does an auto save. Otherwise, I probably would have chunked this game a long time ago, because I got stuck several times climbing up on rocks and stuff like that. Yeah, just certain areas in the game, you can't avoid that. There are certain weapons and talking points when you're talking to NPCs that do not show up unless you have gone through most of the main quests where you're looking for your dad. You do not get the plasma guns until then, which I like, but I didn't complete. I stayed the main quest till the very end. I did everything else until the very end, then I did the main quest. So I didn't know about the plasma guns until the very end of the game, and I didn't get to use them, which I liked. But They do the same thing as the laser weapons. The only difference is they leave a green glowing goo. The plasma rifles do. And it's easy to spot and get whatever you need off the body. Whereas the laser rifles or pistols or whatever, they leave ash, including the alien blaster that you may or may not find. There's only like 1 or 2 alien blasters, and they're usually from UFO crash sites. And you only have a limited amount of ammo for the UFO blasters. But they do the same thing, just more damage. But the ash piles are hard to find sometimes because they blend in with the background. The same thing, if you're playing at night and you're killing raiders and stuff, some of their outfits, like the Talon Company too, it's hard to find the bodies because it blends in with some of the background. Another thing, I took some notes. It irritated me that it has this feature called fast travel. If you've already been somewhere, you can just automatically go to that place unless enemies are around. But you can use fast travel to go to certain areas on the map, so you don't have to run all the way there, which could take a long time. The problem I had with this was, you know, I'm not a big fan of respawning monsters unless it's, you know, an RPG like Final Fantasy, where you have to grind to level up. But it really irritates me in this game when you go to respawn or fast travel, and like you have the like 5 or 6 Talon Company guys just standing there starting to shoot at you as soon as you spawn in wherever place you're going to. Same thing, it could also happen with the super mutants. You know, there could be a ton of them just sitting there waiting on you. I'm just like, that's BS, you know? It's kind of cheap shit. Now, if you're playing an evil character, it'll be the Regulators, not the Talon Company. I would constantly restart this game. I would never finish it because it just level capped you at 20. Even though I really liked the game, it just irritated me because by that time I don't want to play anymore because you don't get any reward for completing quests or anything. It's senseless. The game's no longer fun. You know, you can't level up no more. You don't get anything, extra skills or anything like that to upgrade your character. What's the point of playing anymore? That's how I always felt. This time I said, fuck it, I'm gonna finish this game. I'm gonna, do everything. And I did. Now, like I said, there's certain, and unless you do certain things with the main quest, you can't do certain areas. There's one particular area called Vault 87 or something like that. You can't complete that quest because it's part of the main quest. Unless you do the main quest, you can't get in there. Same thing with the power armor. You have to get a certain you have to get so far into the main quest and able to use power armor. I never used power armor anyway. There's far more cons than pros with the power armor. May have better AC, but the weight wise and your agility goes down and stuff like that. I just never used power armor. I stuck with O'Reilly Rangers armor that they give you because it gives you more AP action points for your guns and stuff. Every gun has a special gun. It gives it a name, like the 44 Magnum is called Black Hawk. You do a certain quest or whatever and you get that gun and it does more damage stuff. Every weapon in the game has a particular named weapon special weapon, that's the best weapon for that particular type of gun. I got most of them. I didn't get every single one of them, but I got the majority of them. Also, there is what's called bobbleheads. You get a bobblehead for every skill and every attribute. There's 7 attributes, and I think there's 20 skills. But you get 10 skill points for the skill bobbleheads and 1 attribute point for each of the 7 attribute bobbleheads. You're not going to max out all your skills, and you're not going to max out all your attribute points. It's impossible. They don't allow it. Now there are mods that you can add on to the game, but I don't see the point. I don't care for it anyway. I hope to eventually get to play Vegas, FallOut Vegas, at some point in time, and I do have the game FallOut 4, which I'll eventually get to playing soon. There are your best skills to level up, or level up pretty early, are your science and lockpick skills. And you, right off the bat, when you do your first level up, you need to raise your explosives and your repair skills to at least 35 or so, or 40 or somewhere around there, because your 2 first main quests as a good character is to go into the first city you come across, called Megaton, and you need those up to that point. One gives you the deed to your house, which is your main headquarters for the rest of the game. The other allows you continuous quests where you constantly bringing what's called scrap metal to this old man. It gives you money, caps, what's called caps. But it's your money. He'll give you money for every time you bring him scrap metal, and there's a shit ton of it in the game, so you want those very early on. Definitely work on your small guns right off the bat. Get that as high as you can, because that's the main type of weapons you'll be using most of the time. I never worked on melee weapons. I never worked on big gun skills, unarmed skills, none of that. There are a few enemies that use those, but mainly they're all shooting at you. They all have, most of your enemies have guns. So it's better off to work on your small guns. I did work on energy weapons. I maxed that one out too, just because you do tend to find a few energy-based weapons quite a bit. Certain areas you will find that are not on the main map. Like at level 20, you have an option, a perk. You get a perk every time you level up. You have an option to unveil every area on the map, which I did. And I went to every single area. I did the whole thing before I did the main quest. And completed pretty much all the side quests for the most part. There's certain areas that do not show up on the main quest. You kind of have to wander around in between all the main areas to find them. A lot of times you'll find radio signals that give you a hidden area. I used the local map, just walked around the whatever radio station gave me the signal, and I would find it that way. It was easier to do it that way. Then listen to the radio signal get louder once you get closer to the area. I got every key except for the one junkyard key, because you have to take the contract killer perk to get the key for the junkyard, and I didn't take the contract killer perk. So that's the only key I didn't get. You do have to find 5 killer tapes to get a code to get into National Guard Armory, which also is where a bobblehead is, and you got to get all the tapes to get in there and get it. I did get that, and I got the keys from the Crowley mission for Fort Bannister to get a bobblehead there. There's one particular bobblehead you cannot get until almost the very end of the game when you're fighting the Enclave soldiers, and that is the energy weapons bobblehead. It's the only one that you have to wait till almost the end of the game to get, unless you complete the main storyline pretty early, if you don't do all the side quests. This game goes on and on. It takes a long time to do every single area. It's just a long game, but it's a really great game. I give it 2 thumbs up. One of the best games I've ever played. It always keeps me wanting to come back for more. I'm kind of curious to see what Fallout 4 is like. I do not intend to play Fallout 76, the online version, because I hate multiplayer game. I hate P versus P games. I think they're stupid because you got people that play that shit 24/7, and then they're dicks to new players. So I don't play them type of games because you can't get on them type of servers, multiplayer servers, and learn the game, because you got people that's been on there 24/7 and they're killing you right off the bat to take your shit. So I don't play multiplayer. I think it's bullshit. I won't do it. Otherwise, I highly recommend Fallout 3. One of the best games ever. Check it out. 2 thumbs up. I know there's 2 previous versions, but they weren't like Fallout 3. They were like top-down, cheesy RPGs. I mean, I tried to play them and I couldn't play them. They were just terrible. Anyways, let's get on to your B movie reviews.
Then I dash away from Popo. Yeah, sex around my graduate with my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no.
Alright, movie holics. Of course, this whole month is horror month. Let's move on to finishing up the Puppet Master series. I'm still working on it, and I'll be able to complete it at the end of this month, the next video. I have 2 more to go, and then we're all caught up. We'll see all the Puppet Masters. This time around was Puppet Master Axis Termination. That's the first one. It was done in 2017. It starred George Appleby and Tanya Kaye. Now, this was a continuation of the previous 2 films, and they made it a trilogy. You still have your 90s cheese, and just like the second one, you have some seriously bad acting in it. They also did this thing with red and blue lights throughout the entire film. They did it in the previous 2 as well. Didn't make any sense because it made everything really dark and hard to see. I don't know why they did that. The red and blue lighting just made no sense. It made everything look really bad. But in this one, The military, right off the bat, they kill off the boyfriend and girlfriend from the previous film. It's really cheesy blood when they do it too. It looks CGI'd really bad. Anyways, they kill them two off, and this guy shows up out of nowhere from the U.S. military and takes the puppets. He's not the one who kills him. He kills this other guy who kills him. And then he takes the puppets. And then the U.S. military wants to give the puppets to this dwarf guy he's a doctor of psychology or some shit like that, but he deals with psychic paranormal activity. Now he's supposedly a high-ranking psychic too. He has two others that help him. He has his daughter and some black voodoo woman. That's the good guy team. He's paired up with the guy U.S. military officer, Marine, who brought back the puppets. Apparently they catch wind. The U.S. military catches wind that the Nazis got their own puppets and their own psychics. They do. They have a Nazi woman who the good doctor. They've been rivals for years. But she's not only a psychic, supposedly. She gets stronger and stronger over the years because she's been reincarnated several times, supposedly. Every time she does, she becomes stronger. She also has another guy who's really powerful, and he likes to torture people and blah, blah, blah. And then she has like this little girl who's a henchman who's literally just put syringes on her fingers and injects, a weak version of the Tolan secret formula into people. Kind of dumb. They basically got to battle it out because the Nazis, they want the Tolan puppets and to kill the psychics so they can get the secret formula, which is in a scroll that nobody can read in an ancient dead language, the secret formula. So it makes no sense. But whatever. Anyways, they have a weak version of the formula and they want the better version, which the good guys have. So they end up fighting it out with their evil puppets from the previous film. And of course the good guys win. Some die on one side and others die on the other. Yada, yada, yada. At the end, they get the puppets back because they took Pinhead. The Nazis took Pinhead, but they get him back. So they got all the puppets. The Doctor's now the new puppet master, and that's the end of the movie. Again, like I said last video, they never explain how the puppets get back to the hotel or motel in the very first Puppet Master movie. They never do. Ever explain it in any of these films. Unless you're a hardcore horror fan and you just want to go through all the Puppet Master movies, I don't recommend it. It sucked. It wasn't really good. The whole Nazi thing has gotten kind of old. So, and the acting's not that great. Like the other two, thumbs up, thumbs down. It wasn't really that great. Maybe worth a one-time watch, if that. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is called Puppet Master: The Littlest Reich. Now, Full Moon does not count this movie either as part of the Full Moon series. Why? Because it was done by Fangoria for Shudder, the streaming service, horror movie streaming service Shudder. Now this movie starred Thomas Lennon and Jenny Pelser, and it was done in 2018. Both these movies went direct to video. Anyways, it was done in 2018. Basically, the story is Toulon. They completely rewrote. Is a remake, a reboot, supposedly, and they completely rewrote the entire story. Toulon is now a bad guy. He is a Nazi, which he never was in the previous films, ever. Now he's a Nazi zombie. Whatever. Anyways, supposedly he created several puppets, and they got sold all over the United States over the many years from the World War II. Now they're having a convention at this place, this old inn or whatever, to auction off all the puppets. You know, everyone who has a puppet can bring it there and they'll have an auction to sell them off. All these different variations of the original puppets. In order to come back to life, the zombie Toulon, he has the puppets killing everybody in the end. The main character, he goes and puts a stop to Toulon, and the zombie Toulon, instead of killing his girlfriend, he goes back just to get a gun, just to shoot her in the head, and then the zombie walks off when he's got these long, sharp-ass nails that he could have killed the girlfriend with. Instead, he just happens to walk over and get a gun and shoot her in the head. It was the dumbest shit I ever seen for a kill. Now, this movie, the acting was not very good at all, again, and it was, compared to the other movies, I mean, whoever wrote this garbage, it was garbage, dude. Seriously, it was so bad. The story was horrible. They introduced a whole slew of new puppets that made no sense. They were just going around on a murder spree at this inn and killing people, finding the grossest ways to kill people. It was just so dumb. I don't mind some gore and blood in my horror flicks, of course, but this was just ridiculous blood and gore scenes. It was just dumb. Like they took a little kid and chopped off his fucking arms to kill him. And blood was squirting all over this black dude. Whatever. It's so dumb. One scene, one guy got his head chopped off and he pissed on his head in the toilet as it got chopped off. It was just dumb. It was retarded. Anyways, Barbara Crampton is in this movie too, and she was the best part of the whole fucking movie. Seriously. Even though some of the cops and shit was just lame as fuck. Like the cops were doing whatever fucking the comic book guy, the main guy, was telling them to do. And I'm like, what the fuck? That makes no sense. The cops are letting him tell them what to do. It was so dumb. It was dumb. Anyways, unless you're super, super hardcore, you puppet master or horror flick person, I do not, this 2 thumbs down, I do not recommend it. Whoever wrote it is a retard. I don't blame the actors. I blame the writer. He's an idiot because he don't know what the fuck he's doing. Horrible, horrible movie. Not even, I don't consider it Puppet Master's movie either because it wasn't. It was dumb. So that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your comments down, or your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any recommendations, or you can think of any underrated movies, B-flicks that I may never have seen or heard of, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next week, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.